Hello and welcome to the Trial Podcast. This is our grand final preview. I'm your host, Bo. This is my co-host, the People's host, Danny. How you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm going good, thanks. How are you?
Good. We had two pretty cracking games on the weekend. We got the Rabbitohs and the Penrith Panthers in the grand final. We should have just stayed the course. We said the Rabbitohs at the start of the year, and we jumped off the bandwagon. I jumped off pretty early, to be honest. When did you jump off?
Uh, to be honest, I didn't realize that I jumped off because I'd forgotten that we
You've
picked.
forgotten that you were on.
Yeah, I forgot that I was on.
Yeah, well, we both picked them at the start of the year. Like at the start of the year when we done our prediction show, we had our top two chances of winning the comp as Penrith and South.
So we're
And
spot
we
on,
just avoided both of them.
apparently.
Well, I picked Penrith at the start of this final series to win the finals. I thought they would win the comp, but then even I jumped off them when South beat them in round one.
Mm.
It, I can't claim that either. But we're here. They've been the two best teams this final series, I believe, especially South. South have been really, really impressive.
Yeah,
Penrith defensively have been outstanding. So it's going to be a cracker of a grand final. Let's get into today's show. We're going to recap the Daily M's, recap the last two prelims, and jump into the grand final preview. Give our best bets on there as well. Also, guys, if you want to support us, the best way to do that is to buy a t-shirt like Danny's got on right now, the People's Host
People's
shirt.
Host.
Yeah, buy a stubby. Just get in contact with us, engage with our content, watch the podcast, follow the Instagram, anything that helps us out. As we're here every week, we're still going to be here every once a week for the rest of the off season as well, previewing other sports, jumping into some NRL news, and then we'll be back for the next season. But let's get into this show, Denny.
Righto. So first of all, sorry, we're going to go over the Dally M Team of the Year. So at fullback, you had Tommy Turbo or Tom Trbojevic, whatever. Wingers were Ruben Garrick and Brian To'o. Centers were actually Matt Burton and Justin Olam. Um, Yeah, Justin
From
Olam
the
didn't.
heavens.
Yeah, didn't even end up getting an invite to the Dally M's until what was it, late last week or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, you wonder what's gone on there. I
yeah,
still don't. I still think they're being shady because they haven't released like the ladder or anything, the full leaderboard, just the top five. So
yeah,
I think it's all a bit shady.
yeah, me too. Anyway, moving on. Cody Walker at 5'8". Halfback was Nathan Cleary. The two props were Payne Haas and Fisher Harris, with Brandon Smith at hooker. The back rowers were Isaiah Papali'i and Viliami Kikau, and Isaiah Yeo at lock. The rookie of the year went to Sam Walker. Pardon me. Coach of the year went to Craig Bellamy, and captain of the year was James Tedesco.
No real issue with a lot of them. Crazy that 6 Penrith players made the team of the year.
Yeah, I don't see how that makes sense. Like that's the only reason that I didn't have Kickout
Yep.
as the back rower because I was thinking you have to split all those other points between those other players, and
Well, when you are building these teams of the year, you're thinking predominantly that like who would have polled,
yeah,
and Nathan Cleary's polled a lot of points. So I'm shocked that so many other players got in the side when we have one South player in the team.
uh, yeah,
One.
yes, yeah,
So
one.
where are those votes going? I guess you can give some to Latrell, who isn't eligible to win,
Yeah.
but not huge amount.
Hmm. Mate, I don't know.
Great season from Cody Walker. He got deducted 3 points as well, and I think you add on those 3 points, he finishes 2 points behind Tommy, and he had a game up up his sleeve. Like he didn't actually play that last round either.
Oh,
So
okay.
really good season from Tommy. Obviously, from Cody, but obviously Tommy only played 15 games, averaged 2.3 votes per game, 11 man of the matches, 25 tries, 30 line breaks, 27 try assists, and 35 daily M votes.
Oh, that's right.
Is he
Yeah,
kidding?
he won the Dally M Player of the Year too. Kind of missed that one out. Um, but yeah, did
Any other shocks in there? I know the rookie of the year. A lot of people were thinking Reece Walsh. Everyone overlooked the fact that he'd already been suspended twice, so he
yeah,
couldn't even win it.
yeah. Oh, probably the only other, the only surprise there I thought was kick out. The rest
Yeah,
were, they all had good seasons. So
and Cam Murray and Isaiah Yeo could have gone either way. The only reason I picked Cam Murray is because I thought there was no other South players, so I thought he would have polled.
yeah, for sure. Me too. That's what we were thinking about when we did our lists, but
Yep.
unfortunately we got that one wrong.
All right. What do you make of the Reece Walsh incident? For people that don't know, he was arrested on the Gold Coast. He was out on a night out. He was asked to move on. He then did not move on. He come back, and when he was arrested, he went back to the police station, and they found some cocaine on his person. I thought the way they handled it was really, really good.
Yeah, Reece Walsh especially. He's only a 19-year-old young man,
Yep.
and to come out the next day and front up and own up to what he had done and realize what he did wasn't the best decision. Good on him.
Yeah, I thought it could have gone two ways. He could have come out and said, like, they could have come out and made a statement, not even him in front of the camera, and him say, "Oh, I was holding it for someone else, or it wasn't mine, or I wasn't going to have it, or whatnot." But they just come out. It was open and honest. I really enjoyed it. Like, I didn't enjoy it, but I really thought the way they handled it was outstanding. The Warriors and Reece Walsh. Now, I think people can move on from
Mm.
that. He'll get his punishment. He'll get his punishment from the NRL. People were saying that he'll be rubbed out of the game for a year and stuff. That won't be happening.
No.
I thought maybe a $25,000 fine, 4 games. I think it would be something like that. Only because I think the NRL will want to make an example, because it's only the start of the offseason. They don't want this rubbish going on all offseason. And we've already seen a couple of days later, the Melbourne boys have been videoed doing some silly stuff as well. So they're probably going to make an example of both these guys, I think, and just try and nip this in the bud before we have another crazy offseason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I mean, people forget he's only 19. Like when
Hmm.
we were 19, I'm sure we were doing much worse things than
Don't know about
that.
you. I'm a model citizen, mate. No, but yeah, and it's stupid, but it's a mistake, and the way they handled it after, I think we can judge them on that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
he's a kid; he'll learn from it. I think, and 4 games seems pretty fair to me.
I still think that's a bit harsh. 2 games.
2 games,
2 games.
all right,
It's a little baggy.
just a little baggy.
Yeah.
All right.
As for the Melbourne boys, who cares? Like it's like maybe just same punishment, I guess.
Would you think maybe those people in the room that was filming him might be the shittest blokes going around?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like people get up to much
Seriously.
worse. Like yeah, for sure. Like it's just a dog act.
Yeah, it just put your cameras away, boys. Like, I don't know. You reckon that happens if Cameron Smith's in the room? Not that I'm suggesting he ever done that, but do you reckon a camera would be out if he was in the room?
No way.
No, exactly.
No.
Stupidity.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's jump into this first prelim. Talk about 2 games. This was a game.
No.
I thought South started really hot, but have you met another team? Have you seen another team be their own worst enemy as much as the Manly Sea Eagles?
Well, it was actually that's funny because there's a similar kind of game the game after the next day.
Yeah,
But yeah, Manly, man, it's not so much that the Bunnies had a good game, just Manly just couldn't seem to complete their sets, and then pair that with only having 43% of possession.
yeah.
I mean, you can
Well,
see.
I thought there might have been 5 or 6 big moments in that first half, and South won every single one of them.
Mm,
Like, if it was a bounce of the ball, South were more hungry to get the ball. You know what I mean? I think the ball went down at one point, and this was probably in the Melbourne game as well. And just Penrith and South were a little bit more desperate than Manly and Melbourne, I thought.
yeah.
I want to talk about Cody Walker,
Hmm.
because I think this is the best big game he's had in his career.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. Um, if we have a look, because he has been known to, there is a bit of a reputation that he can't perform in the big moments, in the big games.
Hmm.
And the stats pretty much back that up. Like, or at Origin level, he's 1 of 4.
Yep.
Okay. In prelim finals before this one, he was 0 of 3. And
Okay.
then he jumps into this one, and he's been considered a good player for a while. So this isn't because he's not a good player. He's been considered a good player for a while. He's got himself into good positions, but hasn't got it done. And then he jumps into this game, and I thought every time there was a moment, he won the moment.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
his half went into that game underdone. He wasn't even going to play. Wayne Bennett actually had to convince him to play on the day after the warm up. He was gone.
Okay, so he
Yeah,
was actually yeah for sure. Okay.
yeah, he was not going to play. And then Cody Walker took control in that first half, kicked for majority of that first half. Had to pretty much control the game, and then he scored 2 tries. I think he scored both in the first half. And the one time he didn't kick, he was actually down in back play, and Adam Reynolds put the kick up. but he didn't die on the play. He backed up the middle and ended up scoring there. So outstanding game for Cody Walker. Finally proves himself in a big game. Hopefully this just elevates his career even further.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say that he did stand up in this game, and maybe he's showing what kind of Wayne and the Rabbitohs want from him, or
Yeah.
kind of invested in him. Like they want him to be their half going forward. Like they didn't re-sign Reynolds, and he's moving on next year. And I think maybe Cody Walker's performance on the weekend maybe kind of
Especially without Latrell too. This was a huge moment for Cody.
yeah, for sure.
Really big moment. So their gun fullback gone, their gun halfback underdone. It's pretty much the hopes of South Sydney rested on him on the weekend. And no one knew Adam Reynolds was underdone going into the game. But he was just outstanding. 2 tries, ran for 100 meters, kicked for 277 meters. Probably the first time he's ever outkicked Adam Reynolds in a game.
Mm.
And both the tries he scored, I believe, he just wanted it more than the other team. He just put himself in a position to score. Remember, the first one was like the ball was bouncing around on the ground and going through people, and he was in that position. Yes, it's lucky that he's there, but he's
Yeah,
got to put himself in those positions. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
the second one where he's backing up the middle, he takes the space, he makes that run, and scores off Damien Cook Scrubber, who I also thought was outstanding.
yeah. The second try I'm going to put down to him being in the right spot at the right time, but that first one, that's 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 mostly luck. Like surely it hits Jason Saab, hits Turbo, hits Dan Gagai, then hits Carl Lawton, and then the ball finds its way into Cody Walker's hands.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. As for Manly, I felt really bad for him. Like
Mm,
they got that try taken off him from the obstruction. I believe it was an obstruction. I am a firm believer of the outside shoulder rule. If the defender runs into the outside shoulder, you just call that every time, and then it's black and white. And they did call it. How do they get that wrong though? They've run that same shape 400 times this year.
I know.
They've hit it so often, and the one time when you'd probably leave it the other 400 times and want to hit it this time,
Mm.
they just miss it.
It's just I think it's laziness.
Yep.
Like it's lazy to not run at the gap, like to just run straight and not really just be like, I'm going to run the line
Yep.
because like I've been told to run the line, so I'm going to do it.
Moses Sully had no reason to. He just had to go through the line.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
for
get
sure.
through the line. And Adam Reynolds is getting nowhere near Tommy, but it's an obstruction. I believe that. And then how many times do you see Tommy drop the ball over the line?
I don't think we've seen him drop the ball over the line this year, or I think ever.
This is, I just couldn't believe it. And that's what
Oh,
I'm talking about, those 50-50
yeah.
moments.
Actually, there was one time I remember he was over the line against the Roosters either last year or the year before, and Luke Keary came and knocked it out of his hands at the very end.
Well,
Do you remember that?
that's an odd time for your memory to work. This guy has the worst memory of anyone in the world. How do you remember that?
I don't know because I had Tom Dubrovich in fantasy,
Oh,
and he got over the
there it
line,
is.
and then Luke Keary knocked out his hands, and I was very angry.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's the yeah, you make your own luck, but geez, they're unlucky there. And then that would have been 6-all, and then 12-6, 12-all. But after that, Souths were away with 22-0 at halftime. But I still had a feeling that Manly could get back into the game if they
Yeah,
scored. I thought they could get back into the game. They did that. They scored straight after halftime. I'm thinking game on. In the next 3 minutes, they knocked the ball on twice.
it hurts. It would have hurt to watch Manly as a Manly fan, but
I
I
just
mean,
felt like they felt like they had to chase the game when if they got into a position to score, they were scoring. They were cutting them up when they got into good field position.
yeah,
They just had to be patient, and they weren't patient at all. And credit to South, they controlled the rest of the game beautifully. What they ran out 36-16
16,
or
yeah,
something.
36-16, yep, was the final
I think
score.
I think Manly got a couple of tries late. Sully had to go late in the game, but game was over by then.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
What do you make of Cam Murray? I thought this was one of his better performances of the year. He only played 63 minutes. 195 meters, 70 post contact, 20 hit ups, 35 tackles, 0 missed. He'll be massive next week for them.
100%. Well, I think he's been huge for the Bunnies for most of the year. Um, pardon me. I think that he probably would have been lock of the year if he didn't get injured back in round 8 against the Raiders. He missed out on, I think it was three or four games there,
Yep.
which he probably would have polled in those as well.
Yeah, well, I think he's only dropped one game in the regular season, and that was 2 games, but only one since round 1. What's the Penrith? I think 25-12 or something. But other than that, he hasn't lost since round 1,
That's
which
crazy
is
to think.
nuts in the
Yeah.
regular season. He's absolutely so important to that side. Anyway, South, massive win for them. Congratulations through to the grand final. It will be their 3rd grand final in like 50 years and 10 days or something. Second in 50 years. People were being very pedantic on that time frame, but as of today, it'll be their 2nd in 50 years grand final appearance.
Well, good on them. I mean, not many teams get to that stage.
I know. Well, like a lot of people can spend their whole life not playing in the finals. I think I looked it up the other day. I don't think Anthony Don played a finals game.
Anthony Don, he played for the Titans the entire time, did he?
Yeah, but he played over 100 games. Like, I don't think he played a finals game. Yeah, so 152 games, not one finals appearance.
That's unfortunate.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to play. The Rabbitohs are going to play in a grand final. Penrith are going to play in 2 years. Like, they don't happen to everyone. So enjoy it, Rabbitohs fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go on to this next one.
Yeah, on to the next game. The Panthers defeat the Storm 10 points to 6. I want to talk a little bit about the refereeing in this game. So, who was that? Sutton. So he ref this one, and the play the ball I thought was insane. Like all year, they've been cracking down on people laying in the ruck and slowing down the ruck speed and all that. But in this one, it just seemed like both teams were allowed to lie all over the opposition.
Oh, I swear to God. You know how bad it was?
How bad?
And I couldn't believe this. Tori noticed. I wasn't, like, I was frothing at the mouth because I can't stand it. And she noticed how, like, she said, like, what happened to the 6 again? Are they saying, why are they even using that anymore?
Yeah.
That's how bad the play the balls were. It was some of the messiest stuff I've ever seen. I'm thinking the first week of the semis. Did he ref that Manly game and it was over 4 seconds?
No, that was Grant Atkins. But that's the only game that Grant Atkins has refed. But other than that, other than that, Sutton has had the slowest average play ball speed in the finals.
Look, I don't care, right? Firstly, I want to say the better team won on the day. So we're not saying that the Storm should have won because of this. The Panthers were the better side. 2, ref like this all the time. Because I can't stand the 6 against personally. But why do we have to cop the 6 against all year? We have to cop the rubbish all year, the blowout score lines, just the absolute lunacy all season. And then we get to the grand final, the semi-finals, the games that matter, and they just bench it. So they condition the fans all year to think a certain way. If you see something, that's a 6 again. We get told that's what is that? Repetition in our head. We see it all year. Then we get to the semi-finals, it doesn't happen. That's why you got people coming out after the game saying this team was robbed, that team was robbed, because they're not seeing things that they saw all year.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can say the same about the contact with the head. What's going on?
Yeah. Who was it? Jerome Luai gets whacked in the back of the head, knocked out. You could see from his face he wasn't there. Nothing happens. Cameron Munster, who was the one that hit him, Jerome Luai was falling. But that's still contact to the head.
Forceful contact not to look at it.
Yeah.
They're told not to worry about if he's falling or not. So we get conditioned to see something all year. Anytime anyone makes contact with the head, little bit to the neck. Even last week, it was a little bit to the neck. This one's a fair whack to the back of the skull.
Knocks him out.
Knocks him out. The referee, for one, doesn't care. Secondly, the bunker, the worst area in the world, they don't care. And thirdly, the match review committee clears it as well.
Unbelievable.
I just find that so bizarre. And don't get me started on the HIAs. The HIA is an absolute joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah. Look, we talked about this earlier in the week about coming up with a new segment. What if Jack Hetherington had done it?
Yep, that's what we're doing. That's new segment as of today and going into next year. Any incident that happens, if it's a head high, message us, send us the footage, and we'll say what would have happened if Jack Hetherington had done it. Denny, If Jack Heverington had a smacked Jerome Luai in the back of the head on the weekend, what would have happened?
I think he gets done for 6 weeks.
6 weeks minimum.
6 weeks minimum. Forceful contact to the head. He'll get sent off on the day,
Yep.
and then
He'd get booed off.
goes to judiciary. They say, what was it, careless or reckless?
Yep.
Probably.
I reckon he gets stripped of his rights too in the community too.
Yeah.
Jack Heverington.
Yeah. So what are you saying? Was that reckless?
It's bare minimum. It's careless.
Yeah. Okay, so he gets a careless grade 3, and spends how long? How long would that be?
Oh, I don't know.
Plus carryover, 6 weeks.
Look, I other than that, I thought this was a really good game, but the referee was doing me head in. The ruck was an absolute mess the whole game. Credit to the Panthers, their defense this whole final series, the defense all year has just been outstanding.
Yeah, look, I wanted to bring up that when James Fisher-Harris held down Cameron Munster on top of his own player. Yeah, I think it was at least 6 seconds where he was holding Cameron Munster down. And
was that the one where he smacks him on the
where he gives him a little spank? There's 6 seconds.
He got charged for that.
No way.
He did. He got charged for the spank.
So
he just got a grade 1, so it was a fine.
So James Fisher-Harris spanks Cam Munster, gets a fine. Cameron Munster almost takes the head off Jerome Luai. No, he's good.
Yeah, Cameron Munster, and I don't think this is nothing. Anyway, I think he has gotten away with a lot, Cameron Munster, this year.
Yeah, like the
kicks, and now to the back of the head. And let's just talk before we get in this game, because I really enjoyed this game. I just want to touch on the HIA just a little bit.
Okay.
Christian Welch gets not KO'd in the first 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely KO'd. They stopped the game, which I'm okay with. Stop the game. The guys KO'd. They didn't. I think the game earlier, they didn't stop the game, and it just kept going on. That guy was in danger. You stop the game, you get him off the field.
Okay.
They stop the game. The trainer comes out, does an assessment, and says he is sweet.
He's good to go.
What? And then he plays for another 6 minutes, and then they take him off for a HIA, Denny.
Yeah. Well,
that's a G up.
This happened back in week 1 of the finals with Tyson Frizzell. When he got knocked out, he was on the ground, couldn't get back to his feet, then stumbled back to his line and almost ran into one of his own players. They didn't stop the game until like a couple minutes later. Then they gave him the all clear on the field, and then
it's a double thumbs up. That's the one.
Yeah.
It's good. It's sweet. Anyway, he gets taken off 6 minutes later. Then Brandon Smith, unfortunately, hurts his shoulder. Brandon Smith goes off for a HIA, right? Which is a free interchange. That's why they do it, guys. It's the free interchange. So he goes off for a HIA. When they realize he's not going to be able to play on because of his shoulder, what do?
Fail him.
Fail him for the HIA. You know how you fail a HIA?
Yeah.
What's 2 + 2? 78. Yeah, this guy can't go back on.
He's gone. He's out.
He's gone. Well, it's just a G up. So if you get 3 HIAs that have failed, then you get to activate the 18th man. So that's why they do that one there. So that's 1 HIA that shouldn't really be a HIA, 1 that should have been, that wasn't. And then we go to Jerome Luai, gets absolutely KO'd in his own words, not in my words. I didn't say he was KO'd. He goes after the game, I sort of blacked out there, was sort of dizzy, but then I hit the switch and I was sweet.
I sort of blacked out there.
What does it mean if you black out?
It means you were knocked unconscious. Yeah.
Game over. You can't come back on. The rules are loss of consciousness or prolonged loss of movement, 1 to 2 seconds, are not responding to the trainers, referees, or players. You can't come back on.
Was there something about a blank look or blank
yeah, there was blank look. Another one was, this was the Tyson Frizzell one, pretty much everyone, balance disturbance, clumsy, loss of control over movements. Tyson Frizzell looked like he was going to head plant.
Yeah.
So any of these happen, you can't come back. That's automatic out of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're just taking the absolute piss on the HIA. I don't like really complaining too much. So let's just move on to the game. What I thought was a good game.
Yeah. Oh. Look, it was a good game. It's nice and close. We like those kinds of games where it's low scoring, tight, goes down to the very end.
Do you think these tight games have exposed the referees even more?
How so?
Because when we were seeing the blowouts, right, when we were seeing the 50-6 and what 50-22 or something. Because the result was over at halftime, you didn't really take much stock in the refereeing decisions.
Yeah.
But now with these are game of margins and the scores are so close, every single decision counts. Every single decision is important, and I think they're getting exposed a little bit in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. I just think the calls in the finals have been pretty shitty, to be honest. Like in this game, the ruck speed, and then we talked about the HIAs, people getting knocked out, and then being able to come back, and players not being penalised for certain things that have been penalised all year.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy.
Well, just go back to the old head high rules because I'd be happy with that. Well, even under the old rules, the Cameron Munster's a penalty.
Oh yeah, it probably is even 10 in the bin. Like with the old rules, he
Yeah.
knocks a bloke out.
I don't know how it's not even on report or anything. What'd you make of the Cleary lifting tackle?
Oh, play on, nothing wrong
Play
with it.
on. I agree with that. You know what's really funny though
What?
for Panthers fans? If Cleary, a lot of people said Cleary should have been charged at the minimum for the shoulder charge, right?
Yeah.
So he just would have taken the early guilty plea, copped the fine. Then if he got a grade 1 for this as well, he would not be playing the grand final. He would have too many carryover points and he would have to miss a game or go fight it.
Well, that's great. Well, that shoulder charge, that was clearly a shoulder charge.
Yeah. So that's just a little funny tidbit. I don't want to see anyone ruled out of a grand final. Nathan Cleary in this game was just outstanding. That first try he put on for Stephen Crichton, my God.
Insane, wasn't it?
Did
Pinpoint
you
out
see
of
that
dummy
photo
half.
going around with Stephen Crichton saying that he was out?
He's not
So
out.
if you believe that, if you even believe that for a second, go ahead, but yourself. Seriously. Like, you got no idea. I saw that circulating so much, that photo.
Yeah.
It takes one click to go watch a highlight, and it's the first highlight of the game, and it would show you that he was in. You'd see it clear as day. So that was silly. To keep the Storm to 6 points was just unbelievable. This was the best attacking side we have seen, 20 odd years in the regular season.
Yeah.
But the Storm, geez, they saved their best for last, didn't they?
The Panthers.
No, the Storm. They're terrible. What did they complete? 60 odd percent?
I had it written down, but then I
I'll
must
have a
have.
look.
I
But
think
they had tons of errors.
was it 69%? I think it might have been.
I'll have a look now.
But
They
yeah,
must have cleaned up a little bit in the second half.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, they were all over the place.
69%, 34 or 49. I don't think I've seen them play worse with the ball, but it felt like they were trying to chase the game as well when they didn't need to.
You think
Felt
so?
like they were pushing passes. If they got in the arm wrestle with Penrith a little bit more, I think. But Penrith were really good with the ball for the majority of the game too. So they just needed to get in the arm wrestle. Craig Bellamy coming out after the game and said that's the first time they've missed Cameron Smith all year, he reckons. Just someone to settle them down a little bit, which is
Yeah.
probably fair enough.
Well, I think it doesn't help that they lost two of their better forwards as well, Brandon Smith and Christian Welsh.
Oh yeah.
In the first half as well. So I think that was a big blow to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, credit to Panthers. They did well.
I thought they were the better team. I thought they come with energy and effort from the moment the ball kicked off. I thought Tavita Pengai Jr. led a lot of that, especially with his aggression, which they really need. They're going to really miss that this week, especially because you know that South are going to be up for this one on the back of Wayne Bennett.
Yeah.
They'll be right up for it.
They got a good pack too, South Sydney.
And why don't we get into that game? Why don't we get into the grand final, the big grand final preview?
All right.
So we're going to give our best bets. Our Clive Churchill, we're going to give our best bet for each side.
Yeah.
Clive Churchill and our winner.
Yeah, now winner. So I think if you're going for Penrith, right? You think Penrith will win?
I don't know. I might have just talked myself out of it a little bit.
No, well, you've gone Penrith. I've gone Bunnies.
Give us the teams.
All right, so we've got the Penrith Panthers, their lineup. So Dylan Edwards is at fullback, Stephen Crichton and Brian Toto on the wings, Paul Momorowski and Matt Burton in the centres, Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary in the halves. Moses Leota and James Fitzharris are in the front row with Api Coruscant in at hooker. Viliami Kikiau and Kurt Capewell starting. Well, they've been named to start. Whether Kikiau comes off the bench from Martin or whoever is yet
He
to
has
be
been.
seen.
He has been a lot. That might happen.
Yeah, so you never know. Isaiah Yo's at lock. Tyron May's in the 14. Scott Sorensen, Spencer Leniu, and Liam Martin round off the bench, and Brent Nate is 18th man. For the Bunnies, we got Blake Taff back fullback. Alex Johnson, Jackson Paulo on the wings, Dan Gagai, Campbell Graham in the centres, Cody Walker and Adam Reynolds in the halves, Mark Nichols and Tavita Totola in the front row, Damien Cook at hooker, Kian Kaloa Matungi and Jaden Sewer in the back row, Cam Murray at lock, Benji Marshall in the 14, Jake
Yeah.
Post, Tom Burgess and Gyro to finish off that bench with Tane Milne 18 man.
And your referees for this fantastic clash are Jared Sutton, Dave Munro, Todd Smith, and Green Atkins is in the box. Just on Wayne Bennett for a second, he won premierships he made the grand final in his first year at Canberra.
Yep.
Then he won premierships at Brisbane. Then he went to the Dragons, won a premiership there. Then he went to the Knights, took them to a prelim. Then he went back to the Broncos, took them to a grand final. Now he's gone to South and he's taken them to a grand final. Is that not just unbelievable?
That is unbelievable. Is he the GOAT? Who would you rather, Wayne Bennett or Craig Bellamy as your coach?
It's is it for a whole season or just one game?
For a season.
I think Craig Bellamy. If I'm to have a game to save me life though, I'd want Wayne Bennett. I reckon he's the best one game guy. That's why he's good in the semi-finals. Like he can just get you up. He's going to be so hard to beat this week. But that's success everywhere. That's out of systems. And he's going everywhere and having success, even at the Knights. And he gets a lot of slack for what he done at the Knights. I know he left them in a pretty bad shape, but they did go to a prelim final, and I'm pretty sure they beat Melbourne in a semi-final as well. They knocked Melbourne out on the way. So to go to a prelim final with them, that's a pretty good effort. They had a decent side there.
Yeah, good on. Who was in that side? Was it?
Remember their back rows were really good. They had Jeremy Smith and
Bo Scott.
Yeah.
He was a gun back in the day.
Yeah, and he took Bo Scott from the Dragons, so he knew what he was getting there.
Yeah.
Anyway, onto this game. That was just a little tangent about Wayne Bennett.
All right, go on.
Well, no, you give me your tip first. You're on South.
Yeah, so I'm on South. So my thinking is Panthers have had 3 really tough games in a row. So 3 low scoring, kind of rough kind of games where it's been real close within a few points of each other. So I was thinking this last week as well. So I thought Melbourne would win because Panthers had, been 2 tough games.
Toughies.
But they've had 3 in a row, and I just can't see them playing to their full potential like they usually would. I reckon
Jai Arrow's been really good for South.
Yeah, he has
Jai Arrow's been a massive in for them.
He's been awesome.
You can see what? What can you see? Tell me what you can see.
Okay, so what I can see is I can see Nathan Cleary and the Penrith Panthers really trying to play kind of like not so much, so similar to the first time they played along with the Bunnies. I think both will kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I talked myself out of my own game plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was so smitten on the Panthers coming in, and now I don't know.
Yeah.
I picked the Panthers at the start of the semi-finals, right? I did, and I said, and my thinking on that, and I told you this before the start of the semi-finals, I thought Penrith were the only team that could beat the Storm. And I'll tell you that.
You did say that.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go away from that. I'm going to say the Panthers win the grand final in 2021. I love South. My whole family goes for South. We're a big South supporter family. Obviously, I'm straight from that. But I just think it's the Panthers' year. They lost last year. A couple of interesting tidbits here. This is the 3rd time they've played in 6 weeks, these sides, so they're going to know each other pretty well. And every game in the last 2 years for the Penrith Panthers has been decided by 6 points or less. So that's really interesting there as well. This is where I'm going with the game. Okay.
Give it to me.
If I like, and I do like the Panthers, I think the Panthers win 1-12. I think it's a low-scoring affair again, under 38.5 points. And they keep South to under 16.5 for $5.65. That's where I'm at.
Alrighty. I've got a bet for either team.
Wait, tell me where you're at now, because I feel like you've talked yourself out of the Bunnies.
No, I'm back on the Bunnies. I had a mental chat and I talked myself back into the Bunnies.
All right.
So Bunnies, they've beaten Penrith earlier in the finals. I mean, it was good. They played a good game.
Yeah.
I'm going to say they play the same game, if not better. They know what Panthers going to throw at them, and I think Wayne gets them up. I do think it will be a close game.
Yeah.
I do think it will be a close game, and I think that the Bunnies will attack that left edge of their left edge, so the Panthers' right edge defense, and I think they're going to find a lot of success there. I think Cody Walker is going to stand up, have a big game.
Okay. So what you bet?
So my bet is Bunnies 1-12, Alex Johnson, and Dangago anytime. Total match points under 35.5.
Okay.
And that'll get you $43. $43.75.
I like it. Just so everyone's clear too, neither of us have actually picked the Rabbitohs in the whole final series. Not once. So that's interesting. We both picked Penrith week 1. We both picked Manly last week.
That's true.
Yes, and neither of us have picked the Rabbitohs. Now, if I'm going to bet on the Rabbitohs, if you're a Rabbitohs fan and you want to have a bet on the Rabbitohs, be my guest. This is what I like. You take the Rabbitohs at the start of 2.5. Cody Walker anytime. I'm the same with you. If they win, he's going to have a big game. And the Panthers under 9.5 in the first half for South, because the way they won last time, they built that on their defense. So I think if they're going to win this time, it'll be built on that again. That's $7.50 for that bet.
So you got the safer of the bets.
Yeah, I've gone pretty safe. I've had a shocker in the
All
last few weeks.
All right, and I've got one for Panthers.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Funnily enough, this one's actually paying a little bit more. So Panthers 1-12.
Yep.
Brian To'o and Kiki out anytime with total match points under 38.5, and that'll get you $51.
I like it, mate. The value's there. Safe money's with me, baby. All right, your Clive Churchill, and this is for each team. I'll go the simple one. If the Panthers win, it's on the back of Nathan Cleary, and that's $4.
I didn't even check the prices of these two.
I'll check for you. You give it to me.
Alrighty. So if Bunnies win, well, if either team win, I think it's going to be one through the middle. And the middlemen for each team are Cam Murray and Isaiah. So I think if Bunnies win, Cam Murray gets it. If Panthers win, Isaiah gets it.
They're both $11, so $11 each. And I'm also on Cam Murray. If South win, I think Cam Murray wins the Daily M.
What's the battle through the middle, mate?
Yeah.
The middle third, I think, and they dominate that area of the field. So there you go. There you have it. There's our Clive Churchills.
Yep, there's our game grand final too. So give us your score and winner, please.
Me?
Get the score and the winner.
Bunnies, they will be winning 18-8.
I'll go Penrith win 10-6.
10-6 again.
Yeah. I just think they've built this whole final series on defense. It's good. It's been refreshing that the two best sides in the final right now, the two teams that made the grand final, have both done it defensively. When we've had such a attacking base year, you think probably Melbourne and Manly have been the best attacking sides all season, and defense end up winning out in the end. So that's really good. I probably have South in there too for their attack. There was pretty good. Anyway, that's it for today. That's our grand final tip. Let us know when we're officially wrong. Someone will probably come out with 13 plus and just blow us out of the water.
Yeah.
It tends to happen. Anyway, Denny, thanks for the season, mate. That'll be the season wrapped up. We will be here to review the grand final, but after that, we're into the off season, so we'll be reviewing some other sports. Still talking a bit of rugby league, but what have you learnt this season, Denny? Anything?
Never doubt Tommy.
I was going to say I learnt not to write teams off too early. I think.
No,
personally,
I
because
haven't learned that.
I wrote South off pretty early doors, I think.
Okay, what if I actually learned?
You learn anything?
Not really, I don't think. No, don't think so.
Nothing. You knew everything.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right, guys, don't forget to follow us everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Anywhere else? All that Tryline podcast, and we will be back on Monday. Enjoy the grand final. Go Penrith.
Go Bunnies.